Later, Ellen, see you never. Good luck with that UK weather. You say that trust what cinch you're packing. We know it's cause your career be lacking. Enjoy your cricket, tea and biscuit. Fuel up and fade out your stupid dick. Read all about the latest issue. It's just in, nobody will miss you.
MC Gene, our Arkansas Eminem.
When Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly set their sights on Ellen DeGeneres, the Queen of Nice couldn't dance her way out of this one. Behind the sunny smiles and viral kindness was a storm waiting to be exposed, and Gutfeld and Kelly brought the receipts. From toxic workplace allegations to whispers of diva behavior, this exposé rips away the carefully crafted image Ellen built over decades. Hollywood's golden girl is suddenly under a much harsher spotlight, and the truth isn't pretty. If you thought you knew Ellen, think again, because the real story was never part of the script.
Article after article of people being like, Ellen is a nasty person. And all these staffers started to come out, not for nothing, but I know a guy, I know him very well, whose sister worked for her, who said, you were not allowed to make eye contact with Ellen in the halls.
It was all sunshine, sneakers, and studio dance parties. Ellen DeGeneres, the queen of daytime delight, glided across TV screens like a blend of fairy godmother and walking motivational quote. Her brand was kindness, her vibe infectious, and her stage a place where awkward celebrity chats were wrapped in product plugs and surprise giveaways. For years, she made midday feel magical. But behind the curtain, not everything was as cheerful as the confetti suggested.
DeGeneres feeling the heat as more employees, past and present from her show, say that they were working in a toxic environment. Some Hollywood actors also speaking out against the talk show host now. Let's bring in Carly Shimkus of Fox News Headlines 24/7. Carly, good morning. Great to see you. So what more are we hearing on this story?
Yeah, so things are really spiraling here, and it's sort of two situations unfolding at once. One of them has to do with a mountain of complaints against the show's executive producers. Some 47 past and current employees have complained to BuzzFeed News. Allegations ranging from a toxic work environment, bullying, now even...
But behind that velvet curtain of forced giggles and choreographed cheer, something darker was brewing. Less Disney, more dystopian. This wasn't a slow burn of backstage tension, it was a full-blown pressure cooker of workplace dysfunction, boiling over after years of being ignored. The smiles, perfect but empty. The applause, timed and scripted. The entire operation ran with the cold efficiency of a military drill and the warmth of a Monday morning at the DMV. What looked like joy on screen was, behind the scenes, a tightly controlled machine fueled by fear, not fun.
Camera, she laughed while she badgered her staff. And so all good things must end. And also the Ellen DeGeneres show. Yes, the 83-year-old entertainer just announced that the upcoming 19th season of her show will be its last. Apparently she created a workplace more toxic than an Amazon warehouse in Chernobyl. Countless allegations surfaced last summer that the show's work environment was rife with harassment and discrimination. Following those charges, Ellen's ratings dropped faster than Kevin Spacey's pants at a boy band pool party. Try to say that.
It was all a performance. Part tap dance, part televised therapy session, carefully crafted to create the illusion of comfort while fueled by an undercurrent of control. What audiences saw was laughter, lollipops, and feel-good moments. What they didn't see was a workplace micromanaged to the minute, where spontaneity was off limits and every interaction followed a backstage rulebook. Behind the smiles was a system where authenticity was scripted and connection came with conditions.
This is not a nice person. So she eventually got canceled, but now she's coming back. She's got a Netflix special. That's the right response.
Yeah.
She's got a Netflix special. And here's the capper. On the promo, and apparently there's now articles out about from people who have seen the preview, she plays the victim. And she says, poor me. And she actually has the nerve to say that she was run out of...
Every segment, every smile, every tear-jerking giveaway on Ellen's show wasn't generosity, it was strategy. A pastel-colored illusion, meticulously designed to sell kindness while quietly burning through crew members like disposable parts in a feel-good factory. It was the entertainment industry's most dazzling deception, a feel-good empire where no one truly felt good, unless they were rich, famous, or wearing a mic. But then, like a glitter-covered Jenga tower in a thunderstorm, it all came crashing down. Years of pressure finally burst, the fairy dust faded, and striding into the rubble came Megyn Kelly. Not with a cleanup crew, but with stilettos, a razor-sharp smile, and a no-nonsense mission. She didn't ease into the scandal, she stormed into it, armed with receipts, relentless media savvy, and a gut-honed radar for hypocrisy. Megyn wasn't there to cushion the fall. She was there to expose the rot. To her, Ellen wasn't just a TV host with a branding issue, she was the poster child for the artificial morality of Hollywood. A carefully curated symbol of kindness, masking an industry built on contradiction. And Megyn didn't whisper her findings. She detonated them.
Ellen got canceled for real a few years ago from just being a jerk.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like a single comment she said or something she did, just lots of people saying that working for her was a living nightmare and that she's a jerk. And I think that's probably why she wants to leave, because she hasn't really been able to make a comeback.
Yeah.
I mean, remember how everybody loved Ellen? They're like, Ellen, we love you, Ellen's here, yay! And then that all went away. So she probably has been thinking of a reason to leave, and now she thinks that this is the reason to try to make it look like some sort of, look how afraid I am, I feel how you feel because I'm, of Trump.
Yeah, it was just the excuse. She is, Emily, I watched her comedy special. It was like a huge pity party. It was about how she was lamenting how her reputation has suffered. She's essentially as popular as a pit bull with monkeys.
Ellen wasn't just selling kindness. She was mass-producing it, wrapping it in pastel packaging, slapping on a smiley label, and distributing it like daytime gospel. She didn't perform niceness. She branded it, commodified it, and built an empire on the illusion. Behind the twirls, giveaways, and celebrity charm was a machine so artificial it made plastic seem organic. Her success wasn't rooted purely in talent. It thrived on compliance. Compliance from her staff, the media, and an audience conditioned to clap on cue. This wasn't a workplace. It was a loyalty test dressed as a talk show. Behind the glossy set was a fortress of control, silence, and rules that veered from quirky to downright Orwellian. The infamous no eye contact vibe, it wasn't gossip. It was practically protocol. Yet the media, those supposed watchdogs of truth, played along like starry-eyed extras in a sitcom. Megyn Kelly didn't have to sift through leaked memos or uncover buried whistleblower reports. The dysfunction was seeping through the walls. Former employees didn't just speak, they exhaled years of pent-up frustration. These weren't isolated incidents, they were patterns. But instead of confronting the cracks, the press hit snooze, choosing to preserve the profitable image of Ellen as the high priestess of feel-good television. And so, instead of hard truths, we got more puppies, cupcakes, and carefully filtered celebrity selfies.
Seeing this on Trump, do you think that she's going to be, just everybody's going to love her in England?
Especially the jihadis who love the lesbians so much. They're going to love her there. I think she's fleeing for way more than her anger over Trump.
If Trump is truly responsible for Ellen's exodus, shouldn't that go down as his greatest achievement in the last 8? I mean, he should get the Nobel Prize.
He's literally going to have a who's who of left. I mean, the entire 80s music catalog is gone. You got Springsteen, Cher, Madonna. I just don't know why they keep showing pictures of Aaron Rodgers with blonde hair.
What Megyn Kelly saw wasn't just a case of Hollywood hypocrisy. It was a system that celebrated it, syndicated it, and sold it as virtue. Ellen wasn't simply protected by the entertainment industry, she was essential to its illusion. Her presence let them all pretend the business was still pure, playful, and safe. But behind that glittering facade wasn't compassion, it was command. And when the cracks finally showed, the only real surprise was how long it took for anyone to admit the glitter was just dust. Megyn, no stranger to how the media machine really operates, didn't hesitate. She yanked the curtain back and exposed the rot. To her, Ellen's empire wasn't some Oprah-style monument to inspiration. It was more like a Disney villain's origin story wrapped in soft lighting and applause tracks. Megyn dissected everything. The carefully managed rise, the scripted apologies, the ratings plunge that followed like poetic justice. While the world clapped for Ellen's dancing, Megyn listened to the silence backstage. The ex-employees whispering about fear, control, and an environment built on tension. Meanwhile, the media polished Ellen's halo with industrial grade spin, treating kindness like a sacred brand. And in Hollywood, brands are untouchable until suddenly they're not. But Megyn didn't show up to slap on a hashtag and walk away. She launched a full-scale autopsy. How could someone so publicly wholesome be so thoroughly shielded from consequences? Why were years of warning signs ignored until social media made them impossible to unhear? For Megyn, the most telling part wasn't just the collapse, it was the industry's breathtaking double standard, hiding behind smiles the whole time.
Doing this, this is perfect for you. Because I'm seeing this week that there is an attempted comeback by somebody who did not cross one of those fateful lines of the misstepping on their sacred cows of gender or race or sexuality.
Yeah.
But she was said to be a nasty biatch, and that's Ellen DeGeneres.
Yeah.
So her show got canceled after she had this testy exchange with Dakota Johnson, where something happened where Dakota said, I had this birthday party, and Ellen said, well, why didn't you invite me? You didn't invite me. And she said, no, I did invite you, Ellen. That's not what happened. And Ellen had blown her off and then tried to play the victim.
Because when a conservative so much as sneezes off script, the media descends like pigeons on spilled popcorn. But when Ellen stumbled, she got the spa treatment, a few soft focus headlines, a victim narrative, and suddenly she was the misunderstood. Martyr of daytime TV? Cute. Megyn Kelly wasn't buying it, and she made sure no one else did either. But just as Ellen's media shield was starting to fray, in stormed Greg Gutfeld, America's favorite sarcastic wrecking ball. While Megyn brought the scalpel, Gutfeld brought the jackhammer, a laugh track, and that signature devil-may-care grin. His first move? Rip the Saint label off Ellen and slap on a new one. Sponsored by Hollywood Delusion. He didn't see a fallen angel. He saw another woke mascot tumbling off her self-built pedestal. And as always, he started with what he does best: mockery with meaning. That apology tour Ellen rolled out, Greg didn't just call it theatrical, he called it Oscar-worthy. A painfully awkward comedy sketch dressed up as contrition, crafted by publicists and lit like a shampoo commercial. His biggest laugh? The idea that Ellen was just now discovering the toxic culture behind her own brand. Oh, really? He smirked. She just tripped and accidentally ran a workplace cult? Gutfeld nailed it. Hollywood doesn't sell accountability, it sells redemption arcs like cheap gum. But when the star is rewriting the script to save themselves, that's not growth. That's PR yoga.
Must stay in the hell of Trump. We're out of here. By the way, Walter,
I think we could let the illegal aliens stay if we get enough of Hollywood to self-deport.
yes, I will take 1,000.
You know, exactly.
I'll take 1,000 Venezuelan migrants for one share.
Exactly. If you can get one Hollywood star to leave, you get to stay. Otherwise, it's out.
You know what, though, it's funny? I just want to bring this up to you. You can comment or not.
Yeah.
So she left a celebrity base to go to London, and she's already ensconced with other celebrities. So she's basically still in the same bubble.
She's not going back to London. She's going to Oxfordshire. And as the only person on this set who attended Oxford University.
Oh, way to drop that
It's true. I can tell you that there is nothing high British Oxford society loves more than a failed and despised American talk show.
Gutfeld didn't just call out Ellen's toxic workplace, he went after her obsession with celebrity culture too. The endless name-dropping, royal interviews, and billionaire buddy moments weren't just tone-deaf, they were completely off-brand. You can't preach humility through a Gucci megaphone. Greg mocked the entire relatable Ellen act, pointing out the obvious. She wasn't your friend. She was a highly produced illusion, shrink-wrapped and syndicated 5 days a week. But he didn't stop with Ellen. He turned his comedic missile on the entire ecosystem that propped her up. Fans trained to clap on cue like seals, staff treated as background furniture, and a media too infatuated with her charm to ask real questions. Gutfeld didn't just expose Ellen, he exposed the whole feel-good fantasy factory she danced out of. And when it came to her apology tour, he tore into it with savage glee. There she was, wealthy, polished, standing in designer sneakers, tearfully, explaining how she was just learning. Gutfeld's laughter could have echoed through every fake plant on her set. Learning? At 60? In what direction? Toward the exit? He shredded her "I'm still growing" routine like it was a rejected Netflix pilot. Because let's be honest, when you've been rich, famous, and powerful for decades, the only thing you're learning is how to dodge accountability. Greg's final thesis? Ellen didn't fall. She tripped over her own carefully curated image while doing a trust fall into a pile of unpaid interns.
Home of Matt Lauer, that the bad press actually had nothing to do with her decision. Right, and the Titanic didn't hit an iceberg, it chose to sink.
If it was why I was quitting, I would have not come back this year. I really did think about not coming back because it did, it was devastating. I am a kind person. I am a person who likes to make people happy.
No, the real reason, she says, is it was just too easy. Telling the Hollywood Reporter, quote, when you're a creative person, you constantly need to be challenged. And as great as this show is, and as fun as it is, it's just not a challenge anymore. Well, if that's true, here's an idea. When your viewership is down 43%, why not consider that?
Back in Megyn's corner, the story kicked into overdrive. She zoomed in on the aftermath, the brand unraveling, the silent sponsor exodus, fans hitting pause, and ratings nosediving faster than a politician strapped to a polygraph. Megyn wasn't shocked. She saw it coming like a slow train crawling through Beverly Hills. What fascinated her wasn't the scandal itself. It was the years of silence that led to it. The carefully controlled interviews, the softball questions, the media, puff pieces. Ellen didn't just fool the public, she conditioned them. Kindness became a costume, and when it slipped, what showed underneath was far from pretty. Megyn zeroed in on the bigger picture. This wasn't just a celebrity meltdown, it was a cultural reckoning. Audiences were no longer buying the pastel-filtered morality and prepackaged virtue. They were done with plastic smiles and airbrushed ethics. Ironically, Ellen's entire brand of authenticity was the most manufactured thing on daytime TV. Megyn highlighted the echo chamber, Ellen praised by her inner circle, interviewed by her protégés, and defended by a fan base too dazzled to question anything. It was a Studio City snow globe, sparkly on the outside, hollow on the inside. Then Greg Gutfeld returned for one last roast, zooming out with trademark precision. He didn't see just a disgraced talk show host. He saw a symbol, a cautionary tale. Ellen had become a perfectly polished avatar of modern celebrity culture, rewarded for performative virtue, shielded from real accountability. Her fall wasn't just personal. It was proof the system that built her was finally starting to crack.